Hey guys, how's it going? I figured I would start this build series because I wanted some Stormworks related content on my channel, and depending on how this goes, maybe I'll make some more build series down the road. Basically, what this is going to be is start to finish the design, building, construction of a fully functional boat that will effectively be multiplayer ready by the time the build series for a given vessel is done. And I figured I'd start with a functional crab boat. And so, we're going to start with the hull. We're going to do the design. We'll work our way up to the drivetrain, right? The engine, the transmission, all that stuff. We'll wire up all the electronics, put in monitors, displays, stuff like that, microcontrollers, the whole 9 yards. First and foremost, we're going to start with the design of the hull. Now, of course, you don't have to do exactly what I do. You don't have to do it exactly the way I do. I'm intending that even beginners can follow along step by step with everything I'm doing, and hopefully I'm explaining it well enough that that is a possibility. If not, any questions you have, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them whenever I'm available to do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out, I want to do 7.25 meters in width. So if you look at the bottom right screen when I'm dragging blocks along, you'll see that there's a little series of measurements that pop up. The red axis is what I'm measuring, and I want to see 7.25 meters. I'm at 7.75. That's 31 blocks. So what I want to do is just delete the end block. And because it's mirrored on both sides, I took 2 blocks off. So now when I measure it, it should be 7.25. It is. We're good to go. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to delete these 2 outermost blocks and replace them with 1x1 wedges. And these are going to start the chining underneath the hull where the hull meets the keel. I am going to do not necessarily like a curved keel, but I am going to use chining in the design, which goes against conventional Stormworks wisdom, which is that you should always be designing boats with a flat bottom because that's how they respond best in the game's engine. And honestly, I don't find that it really makes a difference. You can absolutely make curved hulls with actual chining on them, and they will be just fine as long as you balance the vessel properly. And it's really not that hard to do. And if you follow along with this video, you'll see that. I'm going to create this guideline here for this will become a longitudinal bulkhead. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, though, this will be the basics of the bottom of the hull. So I'm going to go down below this with 5 weight blocks. And the 5th weight block is I'm going to pull ahead like this. And then I'm going to give another one. And I think that's the width I need to be able to use 1x2 wedges to connect. Yep, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these blocks on the inside, this one, that one. What I'm going to do is go back with the 1x1 blocks, and I'm going to drag from the very bottom here, the bottom of the vessel, up to the next deck height. So right here. And then right about here. No, let's do here. Yeah. And I'll delete these. Okay. So I'm going to explain what we got going on here. This is the bottom of the hull. Right here is the keel of the vessel. In here, these spaces here, this is just going to be air. These are going to be tanks that hold air. Not really tanks, but just enclosed volumes of air to aid in buoyancy. And if we go over here to the sides, these strangely shaped spaces, these are going to be ballast tanks. Same deal over here on the other side of the boat. This strangely shaped space will also be a ballast tank. When we look here, this first enclosed 3x4 space is going to be a companionway. Same deal for the one over here. That's also going to be a companionway. And we look at the enclosed space here and the enclosed space here. Both of these are going to make up the main fuel tank, which is going to be divided with a longitudinal bulkhead. So this is the basic structure of the bottom of the hull. And these are the features that I want to have in my hull. This is just how I like to design vessels. Now I'm going to go up 11 blocks in height beyond this, and this is going to create our shelter deck. The reason I'm doing 11 blocks is because 10 is 2.5 meters, which is like 8 and something feet, which is exactly what I want for the interior space. So I'm going to seal this off on the 11th block here, across widthwise, and this is going to make the shelter deck. This is the main deck that seals the top of the boat's hull. And what I'm going to do furthermore, beyond that, is I'm going to create a double hull just on the inside with one block of space in between. Now, this doesn't always work depending on what kind of damage you're taking, but the intention is that if one of these, if the exterior gets damaged by whatever, the chances of that damage making it across an empty space to the blocks inside are decreased significantly. So even if you take some damage here and you start taking on water, if you have this inner skin, the water's basically going to stop here and it won't flood any further than that. That's not a guarantee. Again, I said it depends on what kind of damage your vessel's going to take. If you take a fishing boat out and somebody spawns in a warship, for example, like a destroyer or, you know, even a battleship, you're probably toast. But maybe against like the Leviathans, like the Megalodon or the Kraken, maybe it'll be functional against those. Anyway, that's why I'm putting it there. So this is the basic hull. This is going to be the hull of the vessel. And I'm going to go up one more deck height, because I'm fully intending to put in a forecastle deck and a poop deck. The forecastle deck is the raised deck at the bow of the vessel, and the poop deck is the raised deck at the stern. I'm going to go up another 11 blocks so that I can include another 2.5 meters of internal vertical space inside the decks. And what I'm going to do now from the top is I'm going to go out, let's say 12.5 meters. And I'm going to go out another 12.5 meters aft. Right here, and the total length should then be 25.25 meters. The reason why it's 0.25 is because the block in the very middle in the center line here is 0.25 meters. So we go the whole length, and we can see the measurement along the blue axis down there in the bottom right is indeed 25.25 meters. That's what I want for the length for now. We may extend that. In fact, I'm thinking I probably will. I'll probably do 15 meters in both directions, so the vessel will be 30 meters overall. That's about 100 feet. Anyway, let's turn this into a complete bulkhead. The very first thing I want to do, though, is I want to go ahead and create the forecastle deck, and I'm trying to decide on whether I want railings or gunnels, and I feel like gunnels makes more sense for the forecastle deck because it's going to be expected to tank heavy weather coming at it, right? So if this is the deck height of the forecastle deck, let's pull this back a couple blocks and we'll do 4 blocks in height for the gunnels. That's how tall I like to make them. And we'll just start here and we'll come down 2 blocks. Let's get rid of this and this. And then I'm going to use the 1x2 wedge for the remainder of the deck height. We're going to go all the way down to the bottom. This will be rounded off eventually. And we're going to add 1x2 wedges up here. Just rotate them so they're in the proper orientation. We're going to grab 2x2 pyramids. And we're going to use 2 of them, I want to say. If I can rotate these properly. There. Okay, we're going to go 1, 2. Okay, we're good. Now I'm going to use 1x2 pyramids. The height may not be correct to allow for what I'm trying to do, but we're going to see. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's not what I was hoping for. I have an idea here. Let's go here. We'll just delete this. Yeah, we're going to make it a little longer. I think right now I'm going to focus on just the bow. We're not going to worry about too much else. So let's see. We got 1, 2, and there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. That's what I want to see. Let's delete these. Okay. We'll get rid of all these inverted pyramids. Now when we look at it, we should see 2x2 pyramids. And then we should see 8 1x2 pyramids, and we already counted them. There is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the inverse pyramid, the 2x2, start at the bottom. We're going to rotate these around until they're in the proper orientation. I had to invert them there. We're going to go up one block above where we've got them. Okay, and I'm just doing this to get the curvature of the hull down to where I want it to be. We will alter this because we need it to work with the height of the vessel that we're working with here. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And we're going to get rid of this up to that point. Now what we're going to do, yeah, I know what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to bring these down 2. Okay, we're going to get rid of these. And go here. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. But here's what might work. Okay, that does. And this. Not quite. But what will, and I know what will, is the inverted 2x2. Perfect. Oh, wow. I'm so silly. Yeah, I now realize why the curvature was not lining up where I expected it to. I do a lot of this kind of, you know, just by heart, feeling it out. I've made a lot of recreations of real vessels, and I've done that enough to the point that I'm confident in doing this by heart. But a lot of it does need some checking as I go along and some corrections. I'm going to go under here with the 1x2 wedges. I'm going to join them up to this pyramid here on the bottom. And I'm going to drag it out to the point that it's even with where the block above is. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to go to the last one, do the same thing. Extend that out one block. Okay, and then I'm going to go along here and delete these actually because I went too far. So you see these two here? These two blocks I intend to line up with these two. And that's where the chining is going to start for the underside of the hull. So we're going to copy this entire structure. We're going to figure out the length and the total dimensions and everything as we go. It's always good to start with like a rough guideline and figure things out from there. You don't always want to be stuck in a box when you're designing and building vessels. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to bring this over. Looks like I need to go up 1 or 2. There we go. Now this is lined up exactly where I want it to be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of the selection grid tool and I'm going to mark how long I want this compartment to be with the potential of having it being longer. Now this, I want to get rid of this and I'm going to do another 12.5 meters. And we're going to go back to the selection grid tool and let's see. This is going to be approximately even with the deck, which isn't necessarily what I want, but we can paste it here for now because we know it lines up. We're not going to merge it yet. We're going to get rid of this. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a line that can, okay, so what we need to do is we need to keep going up higher if we want a forecastle deck to be raised at the bow. Okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go over here. And then we're going to start with these. 1, 2. And we're going to go with our inverted pyramids. Our inverse pyramids. Okay. Just drag that out to there. Yeah. I'm starting to think maybe we should have just made the height of the vessel line up with the bow first and then go from there, but it is what it is. If we join this here, we are 3 blocks above, and we have quite a ways to go before we reach the intended height. So let's just continue with that then. We have the keel exactly where we want it, so I'm all right with that. And the thing is, I said I wanted gunnels too. And it does not look like we'll be able to line the gunnels up exactly as we wanted. Or wait, no, we can. We can. There. That's where we'll have the gunnels. So we'll go ahead with our 1x2 pyramids, and we will join this line up till it's complete. Okay, and then we're going to grab our 2x2 inverted pyramids, bring these down and rotate them until they're correctly oriented. We're going to bring those down to meet the hull below. Bring these up and one block higher. That'll give us the pyramid that we're after, which we can eyedrop and install here. Perfect. It doesn't exactly have the curvature that I desired when I was designing the boat, but we can go ahead and we can bring the length out to where we want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this and go down to here. And the widest extremity okay, that looks good. We're going to drag this to the edge. Let's see. Right there. Okay. Actually, if we want, we can make that the deck height. Or sorry, we can make that the overall deck length. No, actually, I think I will make it the overall length of the vessel. Length overall. Yeah, there we go. So I'll just paste it. Reset the grid, clear the content, reset the grid once more. We'll go back over here. And this section here in the middle is not needed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the very edge here. And we're going to go down to where it meets the central guide that we have here. And I'm just going to make sure that I have the entire thing. I do. So let's cut that and drag it out to where it's supposed to be. And we'll paste it. All right. Now we'll merge the pieces. Everything turns red. We know that it's all one continuous piece. Right? And I'm going to bring these guidelines back. And I'm going to delete these. The length overall is exactly where it needs to be. So let's grab 2 vertical blocks, and then we're going to go ahead with 1x2 wedges, drag them all the way to the bottom. And then we're going to grab these 1x1 wedges. And now we're going to go through the painful process of joining the chining to the rest of the hull, right? The chining here underneath on the bottom. This will be a pain in the ass, but it'll line up, I'm sure of it. Okay. So let's go with a normal block. Then we'll go in with our weight blocks as intended. Okay. And I'm going to drag the longitudinal weighted bulkhead. Do the same thing over here. Okay. Wait. Nope. We're going to end that right there. Well, actually, maybe we'll... Yeah, no. We'll do regular. And then we'll create a bulkhead here. A transverse bulkhead. Just to signify that that's where it's ending. Okay. Now this might look tricky at first, but the 2x4 pyramids are going to line up perfectly with these 1x2 pyramids and these 1x2 wedges down here. So we'll just line them up, get them where we need them to go, and we'll fill in the chining of the bottom of the hull. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this last pyramid, and we're going to use a 2x2. Drag it over, and we're going to get rid of this last pyramid that extended, and we're going to go ahead and put a 1x2 pyramid. Come on. There we are. All right. Fill this in, and we're going to bring a 2x2 pyramid. So we're going to bring this down once more. We're going to put a 1x2 wedge. We're going to get rid of these, and we're going to do a 1x4 wedge all the way to here. We're going to delete that last wedge, the insides of the wedge. Well, Maybe we'll keep them for now. We're going to go get a 2x4 inverse pyramid, and we're going to rotate it so that the skinny end is aligned with our 2x2 pyramid there, and we're just going to drag down to the hull here, the keel. And then we're going to go ahead with one final wedge. Or no. Let's just go with the keel. There. All right. That looks pretty good to me. It's exactly, well, more or less what I was intending to do. And then we can go ahead and fill in the rest of this area. That's not what I was intending to do. So we ran into a few issues. We had to realign a few things and move some things around to get them to work, but this is the intended design. Let's go ahead and cap that off. And yeah, this looks really good to me. This is exactly what I wanted. Okay, we're just going to bring this over. Perfect. So like I said earlier, these are just going to be internal volumes of air. So let's bring longitudinal bulkheads down. Same deal here. And we're going to seal this entire area right there, because these over here are going to be our ballast tanks. These will be a companionway, and this will be our fuel tank, divided down the center by a longitudinal bulkhead, like so. We can actually increase the length too. We can increase that inside the vessel, and I think actually we will. And while we're thinking of that, I'm going to go ahead, delete one of these blocks, and I'm going to use this entire space to make a double hull. There, a double bottom. So if any damage happens to any of these bottom blocks here, it's not going to flood this. Well, it is going to flood, but the flooding will be contained into this area here. And up here will be dry as a bone. Perfect. Now that I'm looking, I think it might actually be a good idea to extend the vessel length to 30 meters. This might be an awkward looking vessel if it's not. Yeah, I'm just going to delete this and this. Close that. And this one, I guess we can just... Or... Yeah, we'll do that. And then how far back would we like to extend the forecastle deck? Maybe back to here. We'll bring that down. I'm just trying to visualize where we want all this stuff to be. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove these because we've already formed our watertight bulkheads and everything. I'm just going to cross these over. I'm going to join these. Go right about here. Delete this section. And then we'll bring this back. Okay. Bring these up 10 blocks or 11. Doesn't really matter. Just joining it together here. We'll bring these back. Join these. I'm going to go ahead and make a little bit of a curvature here in the stern. Not much. Okay, I'll bring that down to here. Join that over to here. And like so. Yeah. I do like the basic design, but I feel like the vessel should actually be longer. Not only do I feel like it should be longer, I feel like maybe it should even be a bit wider. If we look at it, it is quite tall. And I don't think balancing it's going to be that hard. We do have this enormous weight in the bottom. But we could run into issues with the further design of the vessel and trying to figure out having enough space for the work deck. So here's what I'll do. We're going to mark that off. This and this. Oop. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go from the center line, the very midsection of the boat. We're actually going to mark off 15 meters in either direction. Yeah. So 15 and 15. Now let's go ahead and extend from here. This will be the easier side to do, or the easier end rather to do. Select all this. Okay, here we go. Cut that, and we'll move her back till she's just about, I believe that's about it. If we go down. Yeah, okay. So we'll paste that there. And then we're going to grab the bow section and do it next. And we're going to go down to the very bottom. Make sure everything is selected. Looks like it is. Yep. All right. So we're going to cut that. We're going to bring that over to, I believe... Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I'm going to paste that in place. And we'll go ahead and join everything back up. Okay. Everything's in 3 separate sections. Not anymore. Perfect. So basically, I guess we're building a 100-foot crab boat. Let's get rid of the guideline. It's no longer needed. And honestly, we could probably even make this longer. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll put a longitudinal bulkhead here. Join these up. And we want to go and create a bulkhead that fits here. We'll just go delete these. Bring this up to here. Perfect. And same deal back here. We'll go one more. And then we'll put a central divider in the middle of those 2 areas. And that way we'll have multiple ballast tanks and we'll have longer fuel tanks. And actually, I think we'll even consider extending the fuel tank further aft and probably further forward too. Here we go. And we'll drag this and this. I overshot that by 1. Go ahead and make our transverse bulkhead. Just going to delete this. Perfect. All right. And then here is our longitudinal bulkhead. Here's our other longitudinal bulkhead. And let's go ahead. Clear those up. Okay. And let's get rid of these transverse bulkheads here because we're going to add one in the middle. Reshaping the design. And this is normal, changing your design as you go. I'm sure more experienced people probably wouldn't be doing this as much as I am. I'm sure they probably have a more clear goal from the get-go, but you know what? It's an oddly enjoyable experience. There. Okay, and we're just going to bring this longitudinal bulkhead all the way over. Same deal here on the other side. Longitudinal bulkhead. There. There. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a transverse bulkhead right here. And we're going to seal this off. The companionway, I'm not sure about that. I think we're going to have that just go the entire length. just going to seal this off here. And we're going to do the same over here. I'm just going to bring that down. I'm going to bring the guide over. And then we're going to bring the top, the seal on the top of the ballast tanks. Then we're going to go ahead with our inner hull all the way to the bulkhead there. Same deal over here. And I guess we can seal them at the top too while we're thinking about it. Perfect. And then we'll just join this. And we've already joined this one. Perfect. I think that looks really good, actually. Let's join our longitudinal bulkheads and form our fuel tank. Okay, there's our fuel tank. And then we're going to make our companionway here by sealing this enclosed air volume. Okay. Same deal over here. And then we're going to make another longitudinal bulkhead to create separation for our for our ballast tanks. There we go. Look at that. And then we're going to seal our ballast tanks. So we have 2 ballast tanks in either side of the vessel. We've got a forward ballast tank and an aft ballast tank on both the port and starboard sides of the vessel. I'm going to go ahead and seal the companionways, and we'll leave that for now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the ballast tanks. And you know what? I think we'll also save this project. And we'll call this Crab Boat Frame. That's another one I started. Yeah. We're going to rotate this. Okay. And I want the port, or the opening in the port, to be at the extreme end of the ballast tank. Same deal over here. I'm going to rotate it so that it's at the extreme end. And we're going to do the same over here. We're going to rotate this just so it's at the extreme end. We're going to do the same thing here. You don't have to do that. This is just for the sake of symmetry. Rotate this. Going to put 4 in the corner. Whoop, not there. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing over here. We don't really need to because I'm going to copy and paste the entire area. So I guess we could just really focus on one. Just go into the interior and let's start making our ballast tanks. We're going to need pumps. We're going to put larger, more powerful pumps and then the smaller, weaker pumps. Whenever you're looking at these large pumps, the white piece is the output and the black ring is the input. So we want these to be pumping out. So I'm going to set that here, and this one's going to go here. I'm going to hit I to invert it. And then we're going to do the opposite here and here. And then I'm going to go ahead with the smaller pumps. The black ring indicates the output. These we want to be pulling inside because these 4 pumps that we put into the tank are going to be sucking water out. So we'll put these here. These are going to suck water in. And then I'm just going to put a fluid port on the end of all of these. The orientation doesn't really matter as long as it's inside the ballast tank. And we'll go here and here. And then what I'm going to do is, where do I put these? Is this still the curvature? Yeah. And these should be just 1 by 1. Perfect. So I'm going to use a spawner block. And then I'm going to use a liquid meter block. Point that inside as the spawner is. I'm going to select the spawner with the select tool and change it to seawater. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And the reason I'm doing this is just so that we can spawn the creation with ballast tanks already full, or whatever percentage that we want. And then I'm putting the liquid meters in there so we can actually hook it up to a display so we can have controls for the pumps and we can pump water in and out as we desire, and we can keep track of how much water is going in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and seal the ends of these off just with a transverse bulkhead. And then I'm going to do another transverse right here. Okay. Now, before I move on, I'm going to put 2 ports in the extreme ends of the ballast tank facing down. Okay. And then I'm going to delete the corner blocks on the deck above that correspond to the ones below. I'm just going to put a enclosed pipe here and here. And then I'm going to put a gas relief valve here and here. The gas relief valve is going to stop any water from coming out, but it is going to allow air to go in and out as needed. So when we pump water out, air is going to come into the tank. And when we pump water in, air is going to be able to come out. And we're also going to put these elsewhere on the boat so that whenever the boat fills with water, it will be allowed to sink, which is counterintuitive because we're designing it to be like not practically unsinkable, but pretty good, you know, with the double bottom and then the double hull that we've got going on here. We're probably going to continue that trend inside the vessel here as well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and seal this off, and we're going to copy paste this entire structure to the aft end over here. So I'm going to go inside, make sure all the pumps and ports and everything are selected. These ones. Okay, I'm going to go up to here. Okay. The entire ballast tank has been selected. And I suppose we can even... No, we'll just leave that as is. Okay. And it's equal on both sides now. And we'll just select over here. Just making sure everything should be identical. Okay. We're just going to copy and paste. Make sure these are aligned properly. There should be one block between these ports. There is. They are in exactly the correct orientation. So I'm going to paste them, reset the grid, clear the content, reset the grid again, and then I'm going to merge them. So now we have 4 ballast tanks that will be functional as we move on in the vessel design. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to bring the hull here in a little bit, and I'm going to create a double bottom here as well. And while we're at it, I think I'm going to do another longitudinal bulkhead. And this one, I'll have it go right to the end of the bow. There, perfect. And then what we can do is we can select here and bring that all the way down. There. So now we have another double bottom. So basically we've got a triple bottom separated by a longitudinal bulkhead. And that's just so that this area, if it gets any water, is contained. And maybe we'll put some bilge pumps in there in case there ever is actual water that gets in. Now I'm going to bring this down. And I think we should bring a bulkhead. And we'll just continue the whole double hull thing. Okay. And because we want this to be a transverse bulkhead, we also want this to be a transverse bulkhead. All right. So the transverse bulkheads are done. Anyway, we'll go ahead and add a bulkhead here. I think we're going to do a 3-block overhang. It would have been nice if we had some shear, some deck shear to the design. Honestly, maybe I should have, because this is really, really tall. I wonder, where would we put the deck shear? Because if this goes across here, maybe we could put it here. Yeah. Let's put it here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use a 1x1 wedge. I'm going to go underneath and use another 1x1 wedge. We're going to delete all this. Okay. I'm going to bring the gunnels back to here. We're going to put a wedge. And then I'm going to bring this to here. This one we can seal. And there we go. Put 3. Oh, that's a problem. Perfect. And then maybe what we'll do is, let's see. The center line is here. I have a curvature here. We could have curvature here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll go up. And then we'll go up. And let's get rid of this. Well, no, I guess it's a bulkhead. We'll keep that as is. We'll just get rid of this. And we'll bring this portion up higher. Okay. And that means this section here is also going to be raised. Okay. Go up and sealed. Bring this over here. Okay. Just bring that to here. Yeah, I like that. I like that already. So we've got some deck shear, and it looks pretty decent. I'm going to add some deck shear here too. 3, 4. I'm going to add that. And then more deck shear would be another one of those. Okay, so basically here. All right, and then we'll go underneath. Okay. And we will delete all this. And that. Bring this across. Okay. There. And you know what? Let's actually extend this portion of the vessel. Get rid of this, and this, and these, and this. And then we'll just create some cross beams here and some guides for the flanking of the vessel. But basically, we have deck shear here. And I'm an idiot, and I should not have added those, because the deck in this entire area is going to be much higher. Well, it's going to be a block higher. Okay. Now this is going to go right to there. Here's where the deck is intended to be. Okay. I'm just going to delete under here. Perfect. So now we have like actual deck shear. And we'll just bring this over. I think that looks pretty good. Create an actual bulkhead here, transverse bulkhead. And I'm going to seal the deck. And here, oh, actually, from here out, it's easier. Perfect. And then what we'll do is we'll fill in the gunnels, I feel like. Okay. Do the 2x2 inverse pyramids and then the 1x2 inverse pyramids. And we'll just use the 1x2 pyramids. And there we go. And then we'll create our little overhang here. We'll do 3 blocks, I suppose. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we are going to create a weather siding. It's typically on the port side. So let's go ahead and create that. Actually, okay. There we go. And let's angle this like so. And then we'll do the same thing here. Perfect. I think that looks pretty good, actually. Now to make the stern. So we'll go up to approximately, let's see. Actually, I think that's where we're going to end it. So we'll have just a regular transverse bulkhead. And we'll end that about, that's odd. It should be ending here. These are unaligned. Okay. That looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 1x4 pyramid. And I want to see how high up we can bring this. And actually, I lied. We're going to need to use 1x2s because we don't have any blocks that will align with the 1x4s when we transition to the 2x2s down here. That is too much. So let's bring this to about here, and then we'll see how that goes. Right about here. Can I do that? Am I off by one block? Nope, I'm not off by one block. That's exactly where we can make it. Perfect. And then if I'm not mistaken, we'll just go down here, and this should also work. Come on. There we go. Perfect. And I'll just use the 1x1 wedges to fill that space in. Nope. I was wrong the first time. Now that I know I am, we just got to go back one block. And then we know that they'll align. Okay. Stop right there. And we'll go ahead with our 1x1 pyramid. Go up. 2 is all we need. And we're going to continue that over here on the other side. We're going to erase that top block. There we go. Now they should be in alignment. If I face them the right way. There we go. We'll just line these up here. And here. And look at that. That is perfect. Okay, we'll just bring this down. And this. And this. And we can bring this all the way over. We can extend the stern. I think we'll use the 2x4s. Okay. Fill that in. Actually, no, right, yeah. That's where the weight blocks are supposed to end. Okay. Now let's see if we can fill this in properly. Kind of odd. We actually need one more filling it in down here, but that's fine. Now we'll go ahead with our 2x4s. Nope. 2x2s. My mistake. 2x2 pyramids. And we'll just bring these up like so. Okay. And we're going to delete from here down. Going to put these over here. This is kind of tricky. Maybe what we should do is stop it right here. Yeah. And then what we can do is just use the 2x2 inverse pyramids and join them. And we can make an aft bulkhead here. Okay. Get rid of this. And then we'll just join these with 1x2 wedges. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and seal this with another double bottom. I'm going to check that everything I'm doing here is aligned. It is. This is where my fuel tanks are going to wind up. We'll go 3, 4, and we'll just join these. Okay. Fuel tanks are coming all the way in. Going to have our companionway. And we're going to have our double hull here. So I will join. Actually, you know what? We'll take it right over to here. Yeah. Bring this up. Seal it off. And we'll seal off the side of the vessel. And then we will fill this in. Okay. And we can go ahead and fill the deck in here and here and here. Well, maybe not there. We'll leave that open for now. This I will fill in, and we'll leave this for now. I'm going to save this just so we got all that work done. And it looks really good. I like the deck shear that it has. It kind of creates this sense of curvature to the vessel. We're not completely done yet. We're definitely going to come back to this, pick up where we left off, and jump right back in. So for now, I'm just going to finish this up, and there'll be more videos to follow. So thanks for following along, and I'll see you next time.